Okay, well, thank you once again for joining us today. This is on teachers as model and leader, which I also subtitled as empowered educators, empowered students. Character begins with us. We've already actually covered many ideas in the past two sessions regarding modeling, regarding teachers as being role models. And I'm sure you will remember that we kept on repeating the idea that the only effective way to teach character is through the powerful example of our life when we are exemplars, good examples for our teachers. So that's what we're going to cover today. We are more than just instructors, more than just teachers of a subject. We are foundational role models. And our influence is very big. I mean, we have a great impact on the lives of our students. As a proof of that, some of us decided to become teachers because of one great teacher or another that we had. No? That's from our experience. Moreover, our influence on the students does not end with a school year. Our impact on the lives of our students does not just happen in 1 year, in the 10 months that they are inside our classroom. Our impact, influence on them, for some of them, will stay all the way to the end of their life. A proof of that is when we go back to our alma mater, to our grade school, high school. Many times, we look for those teachers who made a difference in our life. Teachers who may have handled us 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, but we know they left a mark in our life. The power of our example shapes not only knowledge, subject matter, memorized items, but especially the character in our students. So, our session today is going to explore the profound responsibilities we teachers have as living curricula and leaders. We're going to examine concrete strategies for us to be able to embody the values that we wish to instill in our students, which therefore will set the stage for student empowerment, who will copy, imitate our integrity, our sense of respect, even our growth as persons. Okay, that's what we are interested in today. I mentioned the living curriculum, living curricula. That's what teachers are. That's what you and I are. We are um, like teaching students something that is not written in the syllabus, not written in the curriculum, but because of our action, because of our reaction to situations, because of the way we deal with our students, lessons enter their mind through um, something observable, something that they see, and something even they feel. You remember the quotation we mentioned on the first session? They will not remember the subjects you teach them. They may not even remember what subject we taught them, but they will never forget how they felt inside your classroom. They will not forget the care, the love, the attention that you showed them. Those things will remain. And that's why our life, the way we live our life, the way we deal with them, the way we treat them, those are all learning moments. They are opportunities where students are actually learning something that is not part of the syllabus, but it's part of how to be a human being. That's the living curriculum. It's more than just the textbooks or the lesson plans. It's the values that you and I, teachers, demonstrate in a very active way every single time that they are in front of us, or the other way around, every single time that we are in front of them. Think about it, and I want you to really um, engrave it in our mind. Students are watching me and learning from me, the good and the bad. That's why, dear teachers, I never fail to mention this whenever I'm talking to teachers. Teachers, do not ever, ever resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, hurting, harming, words that hurt and harm. Never, ever resort to profanity, even if you think you are justified because talagang matigas ang ulo ng estudyante ko and talagang the only way to get them to keep quiet is by shouting a foul language. No, it's never justified. Never justified. And that's what we're going to talk about today. By the end of this session, I would have answered the question, Mr. Rentoy, how can you say it's never justified? Hindi mo kilala ang estudyante namin kung gaano sila kasama, kung ganong klaseng attitude and behavior and lack of discipline that they have. No, no matter how difficult they may be, never is it justified for a teacher to resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, hurting, harming, and resorting to profanities and bad language. And some of you may be thinking, ay sayang, sana nandito si Mrs. Ano, mahilig yun magmura. Mahilig yun manigaw. The students are terrorized. The students are terrified. In fact, when Mrs. So-and-so enters the classroom, halos nanginginig na ang mga estudyante. Sana nandito siya. Sana madinig niya to. Well, actually, that idea will come out again and again in the remaining four more sessions that we have, especially when I talk about the classroom management and then class advisory, the important role of the class advisors. So, you and I, teachers, are the living curriculum because we are what we teach. We are like values in action. Every interaction that we have with the students is a chance to model integrity, empathy, resilience, hard work, love for learning. You know, when I was a high school student in Southridge School, many of us, me and my classmates, learned to like reading pocketbooks, novels, short stories, not because of the lecture of the teacher. We had the class advisor, Mr. Escasa is his name. And every so often, he would come with a different novel, classic books of um, how they call this Mark Twain, books of like the novels of Chesterton, of C.S. Lewis, of uh, Tolkien. Every time he would enter our classroom, he would be carrying a different book that he's reading, and we became curious. And because of that example of his, that he was reading a lot, many of us started picking up the books that he was also reading. Many of us started exploring, sino ba tong Mark Twain na to? Sino ba tong C.S. Lewis na to? Sino ba tong Tolkien? And we started getting interested also in reading books. Not because the teacher lectured about them. They're not part of the what we were covering, but simply because of the example of our teacher. Teachers, our impact on the students is so strong, so powerful, they tend to imitate us, including our wrong grammar, including the way we get angry or get upset. Even those things, they try to copy. So, this is a very beautiful book. If you have not read it yet, I encourage you to look for a copy of The Courage to Teach by Parker Palmer. And there he talks about this. We teach who we are, our life, our action, our reactions, our the way we behave. All these things teach students the powerful example of our life. That's why Dr. Thomas Licona, whose signature appears in the certificates that you are getting when you attend seminars that I give, because he is my mentor and he is the president of Center for the Fourth and Fifth Hours based in the State University of New York. I brought him to the Philippines 4 times already. And in the coming weeks, in the coming months, he will also be appearing in one of my Zoom seminars. He said, the single most powerful tool you have to impact a student's character is your own character. Okay? A very important idea that will come out again and again, in not just in this seminar, in this session, but in practically all the seminars I give on character formation. Let's take a poll. I think you all agree that yes, malakas ang impact ng teacher sa estudyante. I'm going to show you 10 traits. Which do you think are the top 3? Which among the following teacher behaviors do you think students are most likely to imitate? Okay, I'm going to flash on screen 10. You will choose 3. And I want you to type in the chat box for you, what are the top 3 among this? I hope you can read it. I hope you may not just be following in a cell phone, but let me read the items to you, and then please choose your top 3. What do you think? There is no right or wrong answer here. Based on your observations, based on what you have seen, based on your own personal opinions, what do you think are the top 3 that students most likely copy or imitate? Number 1, how you treat other teachers and staff. Do you respect them? Do you uh, get into gossiping with them? The tone of your voice when you talk to them, that students see that. Is that one of your top 3? Number 2, your use of positive or negative language when giving feedback. Number 3, your classroom punctuality and your preparedness. They copy that. Number 4, how you react when you are frustrated or tired. They see it. They know when you're tired, especially when it's season of grades, checking exams, returning papers. They know we can be frustrated and tired. Is that your top 3? Number 5, your enthusiasm or lack of enthusiasm for learning and reading. Number 6, your body language when listening to others. Number 7, how you handle mistakes, yours and others. 8, your use of the phone, your cell phone during class or breaks. Number 9, your honesty in small things. And number 10, how you talk about students when they are not around. Okay, please think of your top 3. Which among these do you think for you personally, no right or wrong answer, your observation, your opinion, your experience, ano dito ang for you the top 3 that students most likely imitate or copy? Okay, maybe some of you cannot choose 3 but only 2. Ma'am Nora here just put 4 and 6. Regina put 1, 2, and 5. Mark, Phil said 1, 9, and 3. Lenny said 2, 5, and 9. Parang laging okay. 2, 5, and 9 din, si Miss Christine. Ma'am Telma, who has been attending all our Catalyst seminars, 1, 3, and 5. Okay, Ma'am Nora also added number 3. Okay, so good. Iba-iba, no? Iba-iba. Si Ma'am Cecile put 3, 6, and 7. Maraming nagbibigay ng 3, halos lahat, which is your classroom punctuality and preparedness. Tapos, parang 1 also keeps on appearing. How you treat other teachers and staff, how you talk about them, how you um, talk with them. They see that and they tend to imitate. Okay, so the others have not been able to put, maybe because they're following in a group, or maybe you're using a cell phone, difficult to type in the chat box. Now, so as I said, iba-iba, no? I want you to think, which of these surprised you the most? Among this top 10, is there anything there that, wow, oo nga, ano, kinokopya ng mga bata yon. They are affected by when they see this in the teacher. Which behavior of yours now, I mean, some of you maybe already have a number of these things. Which of them do you think your students are already copying? No need to type in the chat box. Just think about it. Meron ba dito na I am sure kinokopya na ng mga estudyante ko? My students are doing it because they see it in me. Whether it is my enthusiasm, my body language, the way I react to situation, the way I get angry. And then I want you to consider, which behavior do you want to model better this coming school year? Okay? It's a very good exercise. And how I wish all your teachers in your school are able to go over this to make them realize, nako, I have to be careful about how I behave. Kasi totoo nga, students tend to copy these things. Even unknowingly, even without them realizing na ginagawa nila yon, kasi pala nakikita nila sa teacher nila. Okay, I'm going to show you, on the other hand, sabi ko kanina, walang right or wrong answers, ano? Pero sabi ng studies, there are certain things that students really tend to imitate, to emulate, to copy from their teachers. And I'm going to share them with you now. Number 1, emotional responses. Students copy the emotional responses, which include frustration. Paano ka mag-react, ma'am, pagka half of the class failed your quiz? How do you react? Do you get angry? Do you show them that you're upset? Do you show them your frustration? Or do you try to be positive and say, I'm going to give you a second chance, class, but study hard? Are you like that? Motivating, pushing, challenging, and never giving up on them. Or, and I'm sure meron kayong co-teacher who resort to things like this. They will say, class, bakit kalahati bagsak? Ang tatamad naman ninyo. Hindi kayo nag-aaral. Teka muna, ma'am, baka kasi hindi mo masyadong nilinaw ang pagturo sa kanila. Ma'am, baka naman kasi hindi mo binigyan ng enough exercise to prepare for the quiz. Baka kayo yung may problema, ma'am. Sir. So, but the important thing is to realize that how we react to that situation, whether good emotions, bad emotions, they tend to imitate that. Students, sabi ng research, tend to mirror how teachers handle frustration, stress, conflict. For example, if a teacher remains calm under pressure, students are more likely to adopt a similar coping mechanism. That's according to study, scientific, formal study. Here's another one that students tend to imitate: language and communication. Yes, kinokopya ng mga bata. By the way, this also applies at home. Parents, emotional responses, their language and communication, the students tend to imitate them. Yung pag ang estudyante uttering profanities, bad words, foul language, chances are it's because may mga adults around him who also use this foul language, bad words. And many times it may be from the parents or from the older sibling, or they just watch too many Netflix movies that contain so many profanities, and they tend to imitate language and communication from what they see. And finally, top third, sabi ng studies that uh, kids tend to imitate from their teachers the attitude toward learning. Teachers who display enthusiasm and genuine interest in their subject matter, napipick up ng mga kabataan yun. Pero kung yung teacher pumapasok ng classroom na para bang dragging her feet, maybe even saying something like, ay, nako, how I hate this class, how I hate this subject. That is going to also make the students hate the class and hate the subject. They pick it up. Believe it or not, I'm sure you believe me because you were also students like me for 12 years in the basic ed, another 4 years in college, more years in MA and PhD, and finally the fourth. Students tend to imitate from their teachers interpersonal interactions. Students observe and often imitate, replicate, emulate, copy how teachers interact with others, including with their peers and other staff members. So pag nakita nila si ma'am being very nice, courteous, and kind to the janitor, malakas na impluensya yun. The kids will start thinking, wow, if my teacher treats uh, small people like this, ordinary people like this, much more should I show respect, courtesy, and kindness to them. Kung ito nga teacher ko na this is how she deals with these people. It matters. Our interpersonal interactions. These, by the way, are all perfectly aligned with the study of Albert Bandura, who wrote about social learning theory. So, Marvin Berkowitz, the author of Primed for Character, which is the basis for the series I'm presenting to you, he said, hindi ka pwedeng hindi magturo ng character. We cannot avoid it. There is just no way we cannot not teach character. There is no off switch for character education. Ralph Waldo Emerson, your actions speak so loudly, I cannot hear what you're saying. You may be lecturing about kindness, but if you treat others without kindness, you shout, you scream, you yell, you insult, you hurt, I don't hear your words. What I hear is what I see in you, your action. So we have heard this expression very often: walk the talk, aligning our actions with our values. Don't just talk about virtues, show it. Don't tell me, show me. Then I will copy. Then I will imitate. Then I will learn from your character. So I want you to pause and do a bit of self reflection. What are my values? What am I, to do my example, in the so many months that I spent with students entrusted to me this past school year that just finished? What have been the values that I transmitted to them? And what are the wrong things that they may have copied from me? You know, this is a very important exercise to look in the mirror. Where do I lead by example? Where am I failing in my leading my students? For example, for a good example, where do I fall short? Is it in my patience? My students should not copy the way I live patience because I don't have it. Am I showing them the meaning of lifelong learner? Diba? That's a byword these days. We are not just educating children in subjects, we are making them lifelong learners. Very nice. But ma'am, sir, look in the mirror. Am I an example for my students of lifelong learning? Like every time I go inside the classroom, I am excited to share something new that I learned last night in the internet, in a book I'm reading, in a seminar that I attended. And I cannot help but share it with my students. I'm excited to share it with them. Then we are showing them what it means to be a lifelong learner. That we do not say, I know everything. I already know that. I have nothing new to learn. No, that from the way we give our classes, the students pick up. Wow, nagbabasa pa rin si ma'am. Wow, updated si sir sa latest news. That, uy, he knows a lot about Pope Leo. He read a lot about Pope Leo already in such a short time. Lifelong learner talaga si sir. Walking the talk, aligning actions with values, because that is um, really what values are all about. Um, Daily choices that we make. Simple actions like showing patience or offering praise, all these carry powerful impact on students' perceptions of character. More about walking the talk, consistency. Consistency is key. Maintain steady behavior that reinforces trust and models positive habits, building a dependable learning environment. That the students know we are consistently insistent on uprightness, honesty, of not cheating, of working hard, and it comes out in our what we say to the class. Class, next week is our quiz. Please study, work hard to be able to memorize what you need to memorize, to understand what you need to understand. Don't don't even think about cheating. So things like that should frequently and consistently come out of our mouth. This is the powerful um, letter M in the primed modeling. The number 4 design principle in primed. If we are to give character education to our students, regardless of what subject you're teaching, then we have to be role models. Act consistently and embody the school's character goals. This is especially important for all the adults in the school, but especially to everyone who serves as a role model for the students, like the older students or the teachers themselves. Let me highlight modeling by adults for the kids, for the young people. And that includes the lady selling in the cafeteria, the school bus driver, the security guard, the maintenance men, janitors. They too have to be role models for our students. Anyone in school, any adult rather in school, has to be a model of character if we are to be successful in forming the character of our students. So, yung Pride of Marvin Berkowitz, all the 5 sessions that are scheduled this week in this webinar series are all from these 6 design principles: prioritization of character formation, developing relationships. That's the only effective way to form character. Intrinsic motivation na ang mga bata magpapakabait not just because of a reward that you dangle before them, or not because you're threatening to punish them if they don't behave, but that it's intrinsic. They really want to be good and to do good. Modeling from the adults, which is what we're going to cover for the next few more 30 more minutes. Empowerment. We have to empower the teachers to be role models. We have to empower the students so that they also own this objective of becoming a good person, doing good. Developmental pedagogy, because I think I mentioned in one of the past sessions, this doesn't happen overnight. This doesn't happen overnight. And besides, we are forming the students now, but we are not just looking at today or tomorrow or this school year. We are forming them so that they will become good, even as professionals later on. Developmental pedagogy. So let's do another exercise. I want you to contribute, to share with the other participants here, what are the small micro behaviors with zero budget that can show your character, that can display your character. I'm going to give you a few examples of this so-called micro behavior. But once we have a long list, we realize, ay, oo nga, I can form the character of my students even just in these very small actions. I'll give you now some examples. Saying thank you to the janitors, to the security guard, to the maintenance men. Saying thank you many times. Somebody recites, "Thank you, John, for that answer. It is not perfectly correct, but thank you for the effort." Anyone else? Thank you. Owning up to your mistake. Plus, I really apologize. I forgot to announce yesterday about the upcoming quiz. I forgot to remind you about, sorry, owning up to a mistake. That is a very small micro behavior, but has a big impact as a good example. Here's another one: using please. Please pass the papers. Please straighten up the desks. Please go back to your chair. Please stop talking now. I need to continue with my lecture. Please. Okay? Okay. Mark mentioned here, thank you. Sorry. Excuse me. Fantastic. Precisely. These are the magic words. And this has to become a culture in your school. Here's another one: saying good morning with a smile, not like a robot at this, I know schools do that. I mean, class teachers do that. To start the class, they say good morning, class. But this time, put on a smile, which sometimes may be the most difficult thing to do, but that is a micro behavior that can have a great impact in the formation of our students. Anyone else wants to add in the chat box? Micro behavior, small things that we can do, but they can have a great impact on the in the character of our students. Many more that you can think of, aside from words that we utter that are like the pillars of civilization, as Hal Urban would call them. I mean, a a room of students is cultured if they know how to say thank you, please, sorry, I give my word. Okay, we have Claygo, fantastic. Clean as you go. Not just as a poster, but that you yourself, teachers, do it. Making sure that when we stand up from the dining table during lunch, that really we clean as we go. And students see it and they will copy it. Precious, Mom Precious said, appreciate students' every performance in the classroom. Yes, but warning, sabi ni Dr. Michelle Borba, please, please, no need to give a trophy to the students for breathing just to have an award, a recognition. Okay, but yes, appreciating the effort they put in, greeting everyone regardless of their position, and greeting the students when we see them in the corridor, even if we were just together in the classroom or we just saw them a few minutes ago, but even just to say good morning, good afternoon. And some teachers do this, which is a bad thing. They are walking along the corridor and they meet a student and the student does not greet. So what do they? Oh, what do you say? Good morning, say good morning. Okay, I know at the back of their mind they're teaching the kids, but the better way of teaching them is be the first one to greet. Even if, yeah, you're older, you're adults, you expect the respect and the, but that is a better way of teaching them about being courteous. Fantastic. Teacher Peachy said calling students by name, especially by nickname, please, not family name. Hoy, Rentoy, what is your answer? I mean, the in my school in Southridge, when I was a student there, our teachers prohibited us from calling each other by family name and instead call each other by our nicknames. uh, and the effort that you put in, teachers, to remember their names, it is challenging, but it is powerful. The power of small, fantastic. Calling them by name. Consistent use of the magic words, please. Thank you. Excuse me. Simple gestures of gratitude and respect, asking how are you, and really listening to their response and making follow-ups if needed. Wearing a smile and calling them anak whenever you communicate with them. Okay, the power of small. Thank you very much, everyone, for your inputs. The message is very clear. Marami tayong pwedeng gawin which do not cost a centavo but may require a bit of effort. And they may be just very small, simple things, but they have an impact on the students. Here are 5 modeling moves that shape students quietly. 5 powerful actions teachers can do that can shape the students' character quietly without you even realizing they're learning it, but they are very powerful. For example, number 1, when a teacher apologizes when he or she does something wrong, ang lakas ng impact niyan. For example, you happened to raise your voice in your frustration. But that's a mistake. I kept on repeating earlier, never resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling. But even more powerful as a lesson, when you say, class, I apologize. Yesterday, I raised my voice. I didn't have to. I will try better. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it, but I hope you understand. I am really just so serious about wanting to drive home the point about you studying harder, you working harder for my subject. That's a very powerful thing. And I tell you, the students will go home, and that is what they will tell their parents in the evening that we apologize. And the parents will get impressed. Wow, how humble, how nice naman of your teacher to apologize. Even if at the back of the mind of the parents, they are thinking, maybe she did not even have to apologize. Sometimes the students deserve this. My kid deserves this. But no, that's a very powerful um, formation happening. Here's another one, name the value. Every time you correct a person, or every time you affirm a person, link it to a value. John, you didn't submit your assignment. Please, I expect you to be the first one to submit tomorrow. That's responsibility, okay? You're naming the value that you are after. Jose, you're late again. Tomorrow, please be punctual because punctuality is a virtue. Order is a virtue. You're naming the value that you are after or that you are emphasizing. John, I heard you teasing your classmate. That wasn't respectful. Please stop. You're naming what is missing and what you are after, what you want them to develop. Here's another one, visible gratitude. And we made mention of it already earlier. Thank you, John, for that, for reciting. Thank you for that answer. After telling everyone, please be seated, they sit down. Thank you. Please pass the papers forward. They submit. Thank you. Thank you. Loudly and often. Dapat umuulan ng thank you. Please. And even sorry inside the classroom. And napaka-exaggerated na paulit-ulit tayong nagta-thank you. They go out of the classroom and they pick it up. It becomes part of their system. They too will say thank you very often. The cleaner, the principal, the student helping out, all of them deserve visible gratitude. Consistency in character. To the point na makikilala tayo ng mga estudyante natin as the teacher who values character, as the teacher who prioritizes character. Whether in the classroom, in the canteen, online. That's why I have to emphasize, teachers, be very careful about what you post. Students are reading, seeing, looking. But Mr. Rentoy, this is my space, my private. Yes, but the fact na nag-teacher ka means that you are proclaiming yourself to be a magister, a teacher, a formator, an example. And therefore, don't ever post online things that you will regret and things that will display a totally different character from what you are in front of the classroom. There's no consistency in that. Students watch everything, including your posts. If you happen to be friends with them in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, even how you treat other teachers, they should see character. And then very often, express your emotions. Tell them why you are feeling frustrated with many not doing well. Tell them why you're happy that the results of the test have improved greatly from the previous one. How you are responding to situations. Class, I am terribly stressed right now because of the situation. I expect best behavior. Please cooperate. You're expressing, sharing with them how you feel, which means you also are interested to know how they feel, their emotions. Okay? Five enemies of um, teachers being models and leaders, and what we can do. Here's the first enemy: do as I say, not as I do. Listen to what I'm saying, but don't follow my example. Hindi pwede. In fact, a good thing a tactic to make sure you don't fall into this is commit to modeling one virtue every week. Whether it is this week, I will commit to punctuality, order, whatever it is. And then every so often, share with your students how you lived it that day before dismissing the class. Then they see that what you're saying, you're also trying to be an example of. You're also doing. That's what we mean earlier when we said we have to walk the talk. Here's a second enemy: unexamined biases. Sometimes we may have biases that we are not aware of. We have biases against some students. We develop dislike of some students kasi ito lagi kong pinapagalitan. Ito laging pasaway. And then we start having biases without our even realizing it. Wala pang ang ginagawa yung bata. We already are looking for something wrong to correct or to reprimand or um, to rant about. No, it's good to have a tactic to overcome this is teachers, as we make students write journals, it's also good for us to do some journals. Have a fairness resolution journal. Jot down one moment, a student that surprised you positively, for example, and then to try to see the good in people, even if it is difficult, or even if most of the time what we notice in them is something negative. Not, I mean, there is no student, no person, no human being for that matter, who is pure evil. There is something good in everyone. And sometimes we have to step back a bit and admit, yeah, I've been biased against this student when he is like that because he is just excited. He is, etc. Emotional reactivity. Let us watch out in the way we react to situations, in the way we react to things. A tactic for this strategy is pause, posture, breathe. Before you react to a stressful situation, count 1 to 10. I mean, this exercise of pause. Don't just shout, scream, yell. Pause. And then breathe. And then what you wanted to say in anger, try to say it now calmly. Sure, you can tell them that you are very upset, very angry, but with controlled voice that does not show that you're angry, that you're upset. That's maturity. And that is what students will copy. They are going to be amazed at the way you are able to control your temper, your anger, your frustration. Fear of vulnerability. Some teachers, ayaw nilang makita sila ng estudyante nila na nagkakamali, that they can commit mistakes, that they can be wrong. No, we have to overcome this. And in fact, it's a very good strategy that every so often we try to admit to our students in class, perhaps a mistake that we learned from that month, that week. Perhaps uh, we share with them that moment when we almost got angry and lost our patience, but we controlled it. Finally, this lack of accountability, that we lose our accountability. We are not anymore accountable for um, how we are influencing our students. Well, good strategy for this is invite a colleague of yours to sit in your class for 15 minutes and just ask that teacher, that colleague, that friend to give you feedback on how's my class? How is my tone? How do I look like in the way I deal with my students? Do I look like an angry teacher? An angry person? Or am I kind enough? Am I um, caring enough in the way I treat my students, in the way I deliver my lessons? 15 minutes observation of a friend to your class, you can learn a lot. I mean, you can pick up so many things. Okay, three thoughtful and doable strategies for getting feedback, because this is one way of being really a true model and a leader when you get feedback from people. And here are three ways that you can get feedback from your students. Number one, silent sheets or anonymous feedback slips. Once a quarter, once a term, in a regular basis, make them fill up a form, a piece of paper. They're going to complete the sentence. One thing I admire about how my teacher acts is, and then let them fill that up. One thing I hope my teacher will do more or will do less is, and then let them fill that up. They can do it anonymously, or if they are not embarrassed or afraid, they can put their name, but it's optional. And then fold it and put it in a box, and you read it. Don't judge students. I mean, don't start hating specific students just because they wrote something that may have offended you. But no, that's being welcome to corrections, to feedback, because sometimes we may not realize how our students are taking our the way we carry ourselves. It gives, besides, it gives students a safe space, honest space to reflect. And then teachers can quietly notice patterns and reflect without being defensive. Okay? You can also use a Google form, but when they do that, you will usually see the who wrote it. Okay, if they don't want to be known, then the anonymous feedback evaluation form will do the trick. Okay? Or you phrase it in a positive way. One thing I admire about how my teacher acts is this. One thing I hope my teacher will do more is this. When my teacher shows patience, I feel, etc. They are all fantastic ways of getting to know how our students are. Mirror moment class discussion. It works like this, and class advisors may be the best persons to do this, or any classroom teacher, maybe after a quarterly exams, before you start the next lesson, you make them do this dialogue. What kinds of teacher behavior help you become better people? Just make students speak up. What do students learn just by watching their teachers? Let them express themselves, let them share. And they're not judging you. They may be talking about other teachers, but you are going to see there what students are looking for. Okay? They are not critiquing you, because no one wants to be critiqued. But you will learn a lot about how our actions as teachers may actually be perceived by the students. And of course, it's a powerful character formation moment. And then, after listening to the students, after reading their anonymous feedback, think, choose one thing that you will work on to improve, to do better. Number three, modeling radar mini survey. You can make students answer a 5-item survey like this. My teacher treats everyone fairly, one being the lowest, five being the highest. My teacher lives the values he or she teaches. One, lowest, five, highest. My teacher admits mistakes and apologizes. My teacher listens to us respectfully. My teacher sets a good example for how to act. And again, it can be done anonymously. They don't have to write their names on that small sheet of paper. And do not try to look for the source and justify yourself. No, no need. It's for our own consumption because that's quantifiable feedback and it can help us in our progress, in our effort. We will have to end. You have to be the character that you want to see in your students. This is how we become models and leaders. Children learn more from what you are than what you teach. Example is not the main thing in influencing others, it's the only thing. The world is changed by our example, not by our opinion. And finally, you cannot teach character unless you live it. Okay, like I did in the last session, I'm going to give you the link where you can download the PowerPoint presentation because at the end of the presentation, there is a self-assessment quiz that I hope you will work on to determine, am I being a role model? 10 questions lang yan. And there's no right or wrong answer. The right answer is what really you are right now so that you can determine, am I a role model in action? Or am I just getting there? Or I need strengthening? Or I have red flags? And then after going over the 10 questions, you can ask, what is one habit that I want to change so I can be a better role model? Okay, I'm going to now post in the chat box the link, actually, to the link to the evaluation form and also the link to get the PowerPoint presentation. But I will also email this to you after you fill up the evaluation form. So may I ask you please now to click on the link, especially those of you who are following us from a laptop, a computer, click on the evaluation form. I'll give you a bit of time now to try to fill up. I want to make sure it is working and that people are able to access it. And then once you receive your certificate in your inbox, share it with us here. I mean, let us know that you have received it so that I know that it is working. Okay, I'll give you a bit of time to do that. Okay, no one is filling it up for now. Let's try again. There, in the chat box is the evaluation form. Okay, very good. It's coming in now. 4 have so far filled it up. 5 have filled it up. And once you receive the certificate in the inbox, please let us know so that I'm sure it is working. And if you are not able to receive your certificate, you can catalystpds@gmail.com. There, that's the email address you can send the request to if you don't receive your certificate. 8 have so far filled up. Anyone has already received? Fantastic. Ma'am Julie received hers already. Okay. And Ma'am Deborah also received it. Fantastic. I'm going to now stop recording.